We definitely have some room to improve. We're creating some good chances again. Goalie made some big saves tonight. I think just we got to keep pressing like we are. And it's the first few games of the season, and you got to find your spots and things like that on the ice. And I thought we were doing a better job that year tonight.
I think the biggest thing about that night, really, was that we beat the Stanley Cup champions. And to see Sidney wearing the captaincy at home for the first time, the buzz in the building was, what will this team do next?
We didn't exactly get off to a scorching start. We were inconsistent more than anything, and that was really frustrating. In this league, a slow start is dangerous. It can make for a long season.
In the last two games, Bob, they could have done a lot better. I mean, they had 2-goal leads in both of them and let them slip away.
You know, like the year before, I think we had forgotten a little bit how hard we had to work night in, night out. I think we had forgotten how disciplined we had to be night in, night out. And I think we've forgotten how focused we had to be on our system and the type of game that we were supposed to play.
And then the expectation level, I think, of all the fans in Pittsburgh and everybody in the NHL community was, hey, this team's got to be the best team in the East or one of them. What's wrong with them? And I think that started to gnaw at them and cause some problems.
The expectations didn't help, but they're something I've dealt with for a long time. You can't worry about them. You just have to do your job, and one of my jobs is to produce. But still, it's no fun having personal success while we struggle as a team.
Malkin to Crosby, to Malkin, to Crosby, the shot, he scores! Sidney Crosby!
Crosby on an 11-game point-scoring streak, and he has scored goals in 4 straight games.
19-game point streak, Sidney Crosby. He just keeps on rolling.
Crosby breaking in, score! Sidney Crosby with a 4-point night.
In the end, I'd take a 19-game winning streak over a 19-game scoring streak any day. The sun was setting on the first quarter of the season, and we weren't playing up to our potential. Losing stinks. It really does. By the middle of November, we lost 4 in a row, and 8 of 10. We fell to last in the division. In early December, we headed to Western Canada. I was pretty psyched to play there for the first time as a pro, even if Sicky was going to wear that hat.
I knew it's gonna be crazy because in training camp we went to Montreal and people were all over him. You know, they was standing by the hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's just amazing.
You got to remember, he was already a huge star and a huge hero in Canada because people had chronicled this kid's life. He already had a couple of books written about him, so everybody knew about the kid from Nova Scotia and Cole Harbour, and so a chance in Western Canada to see him was going to be huge.
We arrived in Edmonton. We got to the team hotel, and there were at least 20 cameras and numerous newspaper magazine outlets waiting for an initial press conference just for Sidney to say, hi, I'm here in Western Canada.
And did you have expectations coming to the West finally after 3 seasons?
Probably something similar to this. I try not to have too many expectations. I think I've learned after a while it's better that way. You know, it's a lot of guessing going on if you're doing that, whereas if you just approach it the same way, it's a lot easier.
Cameras followed his every move. The stands were packed for his game day skate, and a special news conference was set up for his post-practice comments.
It's just a circus in here today, and it's not because we've won 3 in a row. It's obviously because Sid's in town.
Does it get annoying with all the cameras around?
It's all right. It's all right.
It was really great. He was like a rock star. It was very much like watching the Beatles, I would think, when they came through and there was just a mob of fans everywhere we went. The hotel, outside the arena, fans screaming his name everywhere we went.
Thank you, my hero.
And if you think that this is a Sidney Crosby show in the third period, you're right.
Crosby, flip it over center point to Gonchar. The point man shoots it. Off of Malkin. Crosby got it left side. Shot by Whitney. He converts. The Penguins get a power play goal. It's 4-2 Pittsburgh.
You know what's amazing too, Bob, is that this is so reminiscent of the kind of stuff that Wayne Gretzky would do. I know.
I went to places I never thought I'd be going to there. You know, back caves, tunnels out of hotels, like everything. We did it all.
It was electrifying. I mean, you look around just in warm-up, and our end would be full with fans, but the other end there'd be nothing.
Here comes Sid. And the fans all standing here at the Saddle Dome. And it comes right to the stick of Sidney Crosby. Shooting save, rebound of Crosby. Backhand shot wide.
When I was out for that Western trip, Pittsburgh, Vancouver, earlier this year, you could not turn on a television station without them talking about Sidney Crosby.
There is a phenomenon taking place in Vancouver tonight, the Sidney Crosby marketing machine.
Man City will finally get to see the real deal.
And Crosby t-shirts, jerseys, and hats have been flying off of store shelves.
And they're all on their feet at GM Place, and they'll tell you how this turns out.
It had to be a little bit tiresome for him, having to deal with all the media and the expectations and the pressure. But I thought he handled it very, very well.
Here comes Chris Letang. He won the shootout in Calgary the other night. And he's won it here. Pittsburgh has swept its Western tour.
Wow, what a way to end such a unique trip. I'm sure the fans were thrilled since they got to see some great hockey. And I was happy because we were only a few points out of first place. We might not be the best dancers around, but we had lots to be happy about.
The Bruins and Penguins. The game is on. Armstrong loses to Crosby to Malkin. He scores! 55 seconds into the game, Crosby makes a lightning cross-ice pass, and Evgeny Malkin buries it. And Gonchar quickly moves it to the right wing to Colby Armstrong. Crosby goes to the net. Here's the shot. He scores! Sidney Crosby steers it in underneath Tim Thomas. And the Pittsburgh Penguins lead 2-0. Malkin and Crosby cashing in. Ferentz on the poke check. Crosby tries to sweep it in front. Weidman gets a piece. Letang toward the middle of the wrist shot. Save Thomas. And Crosby's in a fight with Ferentz.
From playing with him before, he always talks about getting into fights. It's like talking about other guys on the team that he might fight. So, I mean, he's been wanting to do it actually for a long time.
We have talked about fighting before that actually happened. I've shown, the guys how to fight and protect themselves a little bit, and I thought he did a really good job in his first hockey fight.
Absolutely beautiful. Sidney Crosby's got the Gordie Howe hat trick. He was throwing him his own rights.
I think that's also very much part of something that Sidney Crosby really, really strives to do, and that's to be known and wants everyone to know that he's, regardless of his numbers, he's another hockey player and is willing to do all the things all the hockey players are asked to do.
As a captain, it's those types of things that really endear you to your teammates. They don't feel that you're out there looking for their protection, that you're able to stand up, defend yourself, but more than anything, it sends a statement to the team that I will do whatever it takes to push us forward.